Hey girls, let's illustrate this Bible verse. We have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. Hebrews 6:19. The anchor symbolizes Jesus and the hope we have of security when we're tethered to Him. This security is fully reliable because it says in verse 18 that it is impossible for God to lie when He makes a promise. Within His promise to us is unconditional love and acceptance for who we are, despite our imperfections and sinfulness. So when the storms of life come crashing down on you, remember this verse and cling to the anchor that will truly keep you firm and secure. To start our project, we're going to practice laying out the text and drawing the anchor on a piece of copy paper. You can handwrite this in your own style or you can copy mine. Secondly, we're going to redraw the text and anchor onto the 5x7 watercolor paper. Then we'll trace over the lines with a black permanent marker and add a calligraphy stroke. Then lastly, we will finish it off with a few bright watercolors. So let's get started. Alright, let's start by folding the copy paper in half and tracing the outline edge of the watercolor paper onto the copy paper. Then I'm going to draw the anchor, and I'm going to put it in this corner this time because I want to add a chain showing, symbolizing the connection to the anchor. So I'm going to start with a semicircular line from this corner. Then I'm going to draw a perpendicular vertical line. With a cross and an oval and some more ovals showing symbolizing the chain. Now I'm going to beef up the skeleton. Remember, this is just practice. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just to give you an idea of how you need to draw it on your watercolor paper. Okay. Then next I'm going to add some lines to plan out where the words are going to go. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines and a space here. So I'm going to eyeball this and lightly draw equally spaced out lines. And now I can practice adding the text in my own handwriting style. Now let's copy our anchor, chain, and text onto the watercolor paper, just as we drew it before. Try to use the least amount of pressure with your pencil onto the paper. Otherwise, if you press too hard, it'll leave an impression that you won't be able to erase. After you finish drawing around the skeleton and all of the chains and all the details that you want to add, lightly erase the pencil lines of the skeleton. Use the permanent marker to trace over all of the lines that you've drawn. After you're done tracing the lines with the marker, take your eraser and erase all of the pencil marks. Brush off all your eraser pieces into the trash so that your paper is clean and ready for the next step. Now we're going to add the calligraphy stroke. On the down stroke of every letter, add an extra black stroke to make it thicker and give the appearance of a calligraphy line. You can also add a little bit more weight to the rest of the letter to make it more bold and make it stand out more. On the anchor, you can make it look more three-dimensional by adding an extra black line on the left side of every line. The last part of this project is watercolor. So we're going to add a little bit of water to each color that we plan on using for our painting and let the color saturate. Next, we're going to pick one color. I have a dark purple here that I'm using just for the anchor and the chain. Then I'm going to add a little bit of blue on top of that. And as it combines, it gives it kind of like a metal appearance. Wait a few minutes to let that dry before you go on to the next step. Verify with a paper towel that the anchor paint is dry, and then use a larger brush to saturate the paper around the anchor with clean water. Next, add turquoise blue into the wash on the paper. You can add other colors too, like magenta on the bottom and yellow-green on the top. Hold your paper vertically and let the paint colors bleed into each other to create a blended effect. And now you're done!